In this segment, we'll learn about a new concept called layer masks. And the combination of layers and layer masks, in my opinion, are the two fundamental concepts that you need to successfully edit images non-destructively in Photoshop. So let me demonstrate layer masks to you by once again opening that image of my granddaughter Lena. And we can see here by looking at the layer stack on the right that we have a flat image, a single layer called background. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to add a mask to this layer. Now I'll tell you what a mask is, and then I'll explain how you get them and how you work with them. A layer mask is nothing more than a grayscale image that you can add to a layer. And by convention, the mask tells Photoshop where the pixels on this layer should be shown and which pixels on the layer should be hidden. That's really all there's to it, but it's quite powerful. So what I'll do here is I'll use the menu up at the top of the screen here to add a mask to this layer. Layer, layer mask, reveal all. And now if we look at the layer stack, two things have happened. I have this white square to the right of the thumbnail of Lena that's completely white. That's the mask. The other thing Photoshop has done is he's renamed the background layer layer 0, and he's taken away the little padlock. That lets me edit this pixel layer instead of having it be locked against changes. Now, there's something very subtle that will become second nature to you, I hope. And it's this notion that not only is layer 0 highlighted, so we're editing layer 0, but we can edit either the pixels on layer 0 by clicking on the little thumbnail, and you can see there's a white border around the thumbnail, and at the top the name of this layer ends with RGB 8, indicating that we're editing the RGB pixels, and they're 8 bits each. If instead of clicking on that thumbnail of Lena on layer 0, if I click on the white mask of layer on layer 0, the title changes to ending with layer mask /8, indicating that if I now edit with this layer active, I won't be editing the pixels, but I'll be editing the mask. This is kind of subtle. It's very important. You will mess it up. I still mess it up. And so if you're trying to edit either the pixels or the mask and it's not working, just make sure that you're editing either the mask or the pixels, whichever your intention is. So let me edit the mask now. And I'm going to take a paintbrush with black paint. And again, I'm going to paint a squiggle, but this time I'm painting black paint onto the mask. I don't see black, do I? Now, what I see are these transparent pixels where I've traced out that line. Why? Well, let me replace the image shown in the center with showing the mask on layer 0. I'm going to do that by option clicking, which would be alt clicking on the PC, on the Mac, option clicking on the Mac. What I now see is the layer mask displayed, and the little convention that Photoshop uses is white reveals, black conceals. So where the mask is white, the corresponding pixel on the layer is shown. Where the mask is black, the corresponding pixel on the layer is hidden. So white reveals the pixels, black conceals the pixels. Let me option click again so we can see the effect of the mask on the layer. Now, another really important thing, and what makes this non-destructive, is that I have not erased those pixels on layer 0. If I shift click on the mask for layer 0, I see an X and it's disabled the mask. So now that the mask is not active, you can see that in fact those pixels that were hidden are really all still there. I have not changed a single pixel. All I've done is masked them or hidden them with the mask. Okay, I'm going to shift click again to enable the mask. Now let's add another layer here. I'm going to make a new pixel layer. We'll let it have the default name of layer 1. Again, it'll be an empty pixel layer. There's no pixels on it. And let's change our paint color to blue again. And I'm going to take my paint bucket New Tool, and I'm going to fill this layer with blue paint. There it is. So now I'm seeing all these blue pixels on layer 1 because it's the layer on top of layer 0, and because it's on top, it's hiding everything on layer 0. I'm going to grab layer 1 and drag and drop it under layer 0. So now I've inverted the layer order, and lo and behold, where I've masked out the pixels on layer 0, I'm seeing through layer 0 to the blue pixels on layer 1. Now, digest that for a minute, right? Because that's you'll be doing this all the time when you make composites. You will be masking parts of layers so that you only see part of the pixels on the layer, and then you can see, other layers below the layers on the layer stack, right? So that's essentially all there is to layers and layer masks. Actually, one other thing I should have shown you is that I told you this little jingle that white reveals and black conceals, but I also told you that a mask is a grayscale image, so it doesn't have to be pure white or pure black. So if we use other than pure white or pure black, if we use gray for a mask, what happens? Well, let's again edit the mask. We'll get our paintbrush again. We'll click on the paintbrush tool, but rather than painting at 100% opacity, let's lower that to something more like 20%. And now I'm going to click and drag again with my paintbrush. And now we see, I don't quite see the original pixels on layer 0, and I don't quite see the blue pixels. I see some kind of combination of those. And let me, again, option click on the mask so you can see what it is. So what you see is now the mask has this gray squiggle here. And while white reveals and black conceals, what gray does is it partially hides the pixels. So the density or the darkness of the black determines the degree to which the pixels are hidden. So the darker the black, the more the pixels are hidden. Solid black means they're entirely hidden. And the lighter gray means the less they're hidden. The more opaque they are, the less transparent. All right, so that's it. That's all there is to layer masks. But there's a lot to know about how to make them and how to manipulate them, which is what we will learn in future segments.